Alright, so we're back for stage 3 of the Telltale Part 3. And we're just going to keep going right into it. So picking up the storyline where it left off, if you're interested in the storyline. Went a little bit quick there, but I'm sure it was something super interesting. Just taking a quick look at the zombie team that I've put together. I know that I've talked a lot in the past about building red, yellow, or blue-green teams because of their ability to mask each other's weaknesses. But when it comes to a zombie team, it's actually better to focus on building either a ranged team or a melee team. And really, the reason for that comes down to the weapons, or the special items rather, that you use. With the sharpshooter, that actually provides all ranged team members an extra 20 crit. If you're using a ranged zombie team, the sharpshooter is definitely an advantage there to get things started early in the first round. If you're using a melee team, then the nitric oxide is typically a better solution to get your crit started with the melee team right away. Other than that, I typically use bloody shirts if I have some available. The replenish, and then smelling salts. Normally, for most zombie rounds, if there's something where I'm struggling with, I'll open up with a sharpshooter at the beginning of the round, and then it's usually the only item that I use, and so that's why I say I like to focus either on a ranged team or a melee team as I'm going through those. So, jumping right back into stage 3, we're just going to go right back to swinging and trying to hit headshots as often as we can. Sometimes on those first couple of sweeps on the first wave, I like to just hit the automatic swing button down there in the corner and just let it start filling up rushes until Rick takes off with that adrenaline rush for the crit bonus. And then after that, I just start manually swinging because I don't want the adrenaline rushes being used from the other characters. Sometimes that can slow down the zombie screens a little bit. If there's a lot of obstacles, it's a good idea if you have melee team members like Michonne here in this case to start swinging with her first. Otherwise, you start getting headshots on the zombies that are closest, and then when you get to the end of the round, if your melee members are at the end of each wave, they're going to start missing, getting blocked because the zombies are behind the barricades. That's really, for me, that's why I like to use a ranged team for zombies instead of a melee team anyways, because it really makes the barricades obsolete. You're able to hit every single time and not have to worry about whether or not your zombie foes are in range or not in range. I like the zombie levels too because they're a little bit quicker. You don't have to really think a lot. Once you get a good crit team built up, like I keep saying, it's just all about swinging and hitting and swinging and hitting. Coming into wave 4 already. Sometimes when my team is firing well, I forget about using that crit rush. And wave 5. So far, the first 3 stages have all been zombie levels, and not a real challenge really for any of these. If you can beat one of them, chances are you're walking through all of them without too much difficulty at all. I should probably be using my crit rush here to speed things up a little bit, like so. So that's wave 5 of stage 3 of act 3. We got 3 down and 5 more to go. Nothing too special with any of the rewards there. There's a sharpshooter bonus. We'll kick one of those in right away at the beginning here. Okay, so actually now we're finally up to some human levels. Normally for these, if I want to just make sure I'm securing victory, I just typically go to my raid attack team. Anything that's beating humans is typically beating computer AI human characters. So here the first round, what I really like to do is to use a tear gas vial, pick the line that I want to hit first, which in this case I'm going to use probably the top row. And then just as a little bit of safety, I will use the nerve gas on the bottom 2 rows. I'll typically only do this in the first round, with my goal really being to end each wave with all of my ARs charged, so that I can, for the rest of the waves, start off with an AR rush that'll kind of eliminate most of my enemies right off the top. So it's kind of what I'm going for here now right away. It's really a bonus to have enemy tunes that you can hit multiple times and use to fill up those rushes. And I just keep an eye on my tunes health levels, and if I need to boost them up, then I use my health tune, which in this case is Mark. See, he hit me and took out all my rushes, but one of the nice things there is at the end of each wave, that kind of resets itself most of the time. So now we're going into the next wave. Instead of using any nerve gas or tear gas vials, I'm just going to open up with adrenaline rushes. Use those to kind of regulate how many enemies I have to fight. Usually if you can knock out at least 2 characters at the beginning, then it's okay to manage the last 3 by just attacking as normal, and just keeping an eye on your health. I kind of messed that up a little bit there, but that's why we keep some smelling salts around. So we'll try not to do that again. Do a little bit better job here at keeping the health levels up. Again, my goal here is finishing the wave with full adrenaline rushes for all of my tunes, so that I can open up the next wave with a can of whoop ass. One thing I like to do, I guess I don't have enough energy there, but one thing I like to do is use the command skills at the end of a wave, because then if you use your command skill at the end of the wave, the player who would normally not get a turn next turn will get a turn at the beginning of the following wave. So there's really the ideal is to open up just using as many rushes as you can, and then after that using the remaining players to try to fill up as many rushes as you can before the next wave starts. And then now from here, just going back to concentrating on filling rushes again. And keeping an eye on my health levels because I already used 2 of my 3 smelling salts. And then coming into the final wave, I'm going to have all of my adrenaline rushes full again, which is really the best wave to have those things full for. I try to take out both flanks and leave the boss for last, just because I'd rather get hit by 1 tough guy than 5 not tough guys, I guess, is my general theory. Of course, if I have traits that are matched up to overwhelm and I have rushes on those traits, then I'm typically going to just go for the boss anyways. And just 1 guy left to clean up. And there we go. So that's stage 4 of Act 2 cleared. And so we had 3 zombie levels followed by 1 human level. So hopefully that'll get you halfway there.